Good morning, everybody. I did a tea break talk the other day and it was quite popular, so I thought we'll do another one for you to listen to if you want to know more about the American election that's happening today, or specifically more about the experience of voting in the American elections. There's a standing joke about elections: vote early, vote often. And what that means is, or what it implies, is people are cheating. But in America, people do vote often and it's perfectly legal. And in this quick tea break talk, I'm going to explain why. The reason is that Americans don't just vote for one candidate, they vote for lots. The number of elected officials in the United States is huge. So it's not like when we go to the polls here in the UK and we just mark one cross on the ballot. Americans can be there a long, long time. As you can see from these ballots from elections in 2012 and 2004, I think that one is, old ballots, obviously we can't use current ones, that would be illegal, but there are lots and lots of people to vote for. There's the president, vice president, Americans vote for their senator, for members of the House of Representatives. They also vote for state government officials, the governor, state senator, maybe the legislative representative, other officials in state governments like the Secretary of State or Attorney General. They vote for local government officials all at the same time, county government officials, city, town government officials, mayors, representatives to the city council. They also vote for other offices, judges, school boards, water boards. To be on the mosquito control board in some states, you have to be voted in. Coroner is often an elected official. The list goes on and on and on. In Arizona, they vote for the mine inspector. In Florida, for the Commissioner of Agriculture. In Georgia, for the Commissioner of Insurance and Safety Fire. Texas, the Railroad Commissioner. It can take a long, long time. There's lots of people to choose. Also, as well, this is a sort of a joke that came around in 2017 when Trump was trying to criticize Bob Corker, who was seen as an Obama supporter, and Trump joked that Bob Corker couldn't get elected dog catcher. Well, he's true, he couldn't, because Bob Corker was from Tennessee, where you don't get elected dog catcher, but you do in Duxbury, Vermont. So if you live there, yes, you can run for dog catcher. The current elected dog catcher is Zeb Town. I'm not going to read these all out. You can pause the recording if you want and have a closer look for yourselves. But this is a list of all the people that voters in Orange County, California in 2018 in the midterm elections had to elect. So as you can see, it's quite a long list. And it takes time to, to think about it and choose who you want to vote for. Now, I picked Orange County for a reason. And the reason I chose Orange County is because Americans are also allowed to write in the name of a candidate. If they don't like all the candidates on offer, they can choose their own. Disneyland in California is in Orange County. So in principle, if you wanted, you could write in the name of Mickey Mouse, and because he's a resident of Orange County. So in Orange County, California, you can vote for Mickey Mouse if you want. Again, this is quite a detailed slide, but you can pause the recording if you want to have a closer look. This is from a book published in 2012 by Professor Jennifer Lawless called Becoming a Candidate. Now, she conducted a full study of the number of elected officials in the United States, and the numbers are just staggering. She found there were over 87,000 elected offices in the United States with over 500,000 elected officials. And the reason that number is much higher. So, for example, an elective body is the House of Representatives. In there are 435 elected officials. So that's why that number's much higher. This was in 2012, but the numbers today are very similar. Voting in America is quite a thing. Now, as well as voting for candidates, Americans are also today going to be voting on certain ballot measures. That's what Americans called referendum, really. So they're given a question and they're asked to vote yes or no. These can be on really important things. So this is a key part of the election. Some examples, there's lots going on this year, but some examples. California is voting on whether to repeal a ban on affirmative action in college admissions. Mississippi is voting about changing the Constitution, an element put in 1890 that made it easier to discriminate against minorities. They're voting to repeal that, finally. Various states, Arizona, Montana, New Jersey, South Dakota, Mississippi, are voting on whether to make marijuana legal either for recreational purposes or medical purposes. Colorado are voting on whether to tighten up abortion laws to make it illegal after 22 weeks. Florida is voting to vote on raising the minimum wage, yay Florida, by 2026. It's going to take time, but they're working on it. Illinois is voting on whether to introduce a graduated income tax. Now, we have that in this country. It means the percentage you pay on income tax varies on what you earn. Illinois might introduce that. Colorado is voting on whether to withdraw from the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact. That's the deal some states have made to give their electoral college vote to the popular vote winner, which is quite interesting. The continued existence of the electoral college, big debate in America. The most monumental probably is in Puerto Rico. Puerto Ricans are voting, it's a non-binding amendment, so it's just an advisory vote, asking if residents approve statehood. If they do, Congress will be asked to consider it next year. If Congress approve, there could be a new star on the flag. The flag could be changing. So that's all quite exciting. Overall, voters in 32 states are being asked to vote on 121 ballot measures. So in addition to electing all the officials to the various elected offices, they're voting on issues like these as well. So as we've seen from the news, I'm sure you've been watching, Americans have been voting early. They will today, as you now know, be voting often. And this is why voting in America can take a long time, much longer than it's taken us to put the kettle on and brew a cup or a coffee and listen to this. It's also why it matters. As is often quoted, decisions are made by those who show up. We have yet to see what's decided. But it's going to be interesting, and there's some key factors, not just who will be president of the United States. Hopefully, voters will feel that the hours of waiting in line and the time it takes to fill in the ballot will all have been worth it. And hopefully, my biggest hope is that whatever the result, it is a legitimate result and it is accepted by all sides. That, after all, is the basis of democracy. Thanks for listening, everybody. Enjoy your cuppa.